What's good, everyone? It's Weavius back with another video. In this video I'll be showing you my ideal ninja or assassin class. Typically a lot of the names I would recommend for an assassin class or ninja class I have to do with anime, not gonna lie. Like I'll do like Akatsuki or something like that. But the one I just posted about is Assassin. So but this, not gonna lie, is actually a faith character I have. But it's a level 197, so needless to say, I have enough stats to play just about any role. When it comes to looking at the weaker end of the character spectrum. So first things first, the equipment. So honestly, you're not gonna want this. You're gonna want your regular catalyst for casting spells, because like you've got fall control, repair, chameleon, remedy, and resist curse, and then slumbering dragon crest ring, as well as ring of fog, make for the essentially a perfect assassin, because you could be over here with chameleon. Oh no, I'm a pot. And then remedy to cure poisons and such, resist curse to resist curse, obviously, and then fall control to take no damage while you're falling, and then repair to repair all your equipment. So that's honestly the only thing I'd use the catalyst for. For these, I believe you only need about a 16 intelligence, and if you want to have multiple of each of them, that way you have more uses than normal, then definitely I would maximize how much attunement slots you have, which is 10, unless you have certain rings that increase your attunement slot count. But you don't need those because the rings you have equipped are what you're gonna want. And then oh, to maximize your attunement, I'm sorry, you need 50 attunement to have the maximum amount of attunement slots. Upgrading past that kind of just defeats the purpose. And then I'd also have a bow. I suggest a longbow. Mostly because it scales really well with dex, which you're gonna want to have high dex. My recommendation if you're doing PvP is probably about 50 or so. So mine's only a +5. And it didn't kill this guy in one shot. Well, that's because my dex actually isn't even that high compared to what a pure dex build would be. Like, I've got 30. But that's only because I like using the Uchi Katana. So, and a lot of strength builds also, well, a lot of strength weapons also require you to have some decent dex. So I upgraded my dex a bit. And then in your usable items, I've got throwing knives, poison throwing knives, fire bombs, and black fire bombs. Because that's just a very ninja assassin thing to do. You're also going to want poison arrows and then some standard large feather, what have you. I suggest standard because they'll still do quite a bit of damage, even if you, especially if you have like high dex. And they're stupid cheap. And then for the outfit, you're gonna want Shadow Mask, well, the Shadow set, which you can find in Blight Town. And then I suggest using Uchi Katana. I don't really suggest using a shield. You're not really gonna want a shield. It'll just slow your build down. So I have 2 Uchi Katanas, which I typically just dual wield, and it's more of an aesthetic thing. I think that's about it. And actually, so for the katanas, I suggest using just instead of what I'm doing, having fire and lightning katanas, I suggest doing like 2 plus 15s. Because your biggest earner is going to be your dex, and fire Uchikatana and lightning Uchikatana don't scale with anything. Neither does chaos, and I don't think crystal does either. Objectively, you could do like raw. But this is just how I would make it. Obviously my favorite bow is actually just the Dark Moon bow, but it's not really gonna serve you any purpose when you don't have enough. I think it's faith it scales with. Yeah. So you don't have enough. You're not going to have like any faith. In fact, you probably won't have any faith to use it. So you probably won't even be using Dark Moon Bow at all. I'm a faith build, so obviously I would use a faith bow that scales with faith. If it wasn't this one, I'd be using like a divine longbow or something. But I think that's about it. For those who don't know, this is actually the spot where you're going to be able to find some of the stuff I was talking about. Specifically the poison throwing knives. Also with the having just the plus 15s, you could also go ahead and use the pine resins. Specifically the poison pine resin, I forget what it's called. But she sells it as well. So she sells 2 of the 3 pine resins. She has charcoal pine resin and then rotten pine resin. Rotten adds a poison effect, and then charcoal adds a fire. She also sells the poison throwing knives, as well as poison arrows. In fact, most types of arrows and bolts. But I think that's about it. Please, if you guys like this sort of content, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be sure to continue pumping out this sort of content. Yeah, I'll see y'all.